I'm a huge fan of Sonic. Sorry, I'm just used to somebody throwing something at me when I say that. Sonic the Hedgehog is one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's been my favorite video game series ever since I was 5 years old. Sonic has always meant so much to me and has helped me through a lot of hard times. Just with the fun gameplay and overall great aesthetic of all his games, I love the feeling that playing his games gives me. That's basically all I can say about it. Which is why when they announced a new open-world Sonic game with the boost-style gameplay but also adventure-style mechanics, I was so excited. My personal favorite era of Sonic is Boost Sonic, but I also love the platforming of the adventure era. And to see those two styles come together in an area where you can run around and explore freely is absolutely insane. But, unfortunately, because I am such a big Sonic fan, I have a few concerns. Now, I want to preface, this video is in no way bashing Sonic Frontiers. I think the game is going to be very fun, it looks very entertaining, and I'm gonna play the hell out of it. Heck, I pre-ordered 3 copies. Well, 4 if you count the one I bought for my friend, but, you know, who cares about him? And of course, every game is going to have its problems. Let me rephrase, every Sonic game is going to have its problems. Sonic's had a very copious history when it comes to his games. There's always either a great game or they're a terrible game. There is literally no middle ground. The most recent Sonic game that released, Sonic Forces, was honestly an average game, but since it was an average game, most people tossed it out the trash bin and called it, well, garbage. As much as I love Sonic and I love Sonic Frontiers, I can't ignore some of the more blatant issues that Sonic Frontiers is looking up to have. There are some small bits with the gameplay and the visuals that just look off to me, and honestly, some things that just aren't that interesting if I'm being honest. Issues that I feel need to be addressed and can't just go unsaid. Sonic Frontiers, at the time of me recording this, is releasing 1 week from today. If you want, y'all can tune into my live stream when I play it, because I'm gonna be doing that. My overall point is, given everything we've seen about Sonic Frontiers, it gives me some small bit of hesitation on how the game is gonna perform overall. Is it going to be great? Or are these small things just ultimately gonna trip it up? So in this video here, before Sonic Frontiers goes up, I'm gonna go over some of the things that I still have hesitations about in Sonic Frontiers, and also go in depth with how I think they should be solved. Because honestly, a lot of these aren't big things. They're just small things that I think added up together will make the game less fun. So without further ado, here are 5 things that concern me about Sonic Frontiers. Oh god, I'm gonna get cancelled for this, aren't I? The game's overall aesthetic. Now, to me, I love the idea of an open-world Sonic game. So many Sonic fan games actually use this premise already, having a complete open testing world to make their games. And it's really fun. It's been proven to be really fun. I think it's a great thing to be able to do open world, which, by the way, I'm gonna acknowledge it now, I know it's called Open Zone. Sega, you're not the first to do it. I'm sorry, you're not. It's open world. But one of the things that really manages to catch my eye, or I guess I should say, not manage to catch my eye, is the landscapes. These islands all kind of look bland and a little bit uninteresting if I'm being honest. I know it's hard to make an open world seem really appealing when, you know, you have to create mountain landscapes and freaking deserts and, I don't know, maybe a volcano level. I think that's what Sonic Frontiers has now. But I've played a bunch of games like Breath of the Wild or Genshin Impact where they each manage to make these worlds feel fleshed out and interesting. So far from what I've seen of Sonic Frontiers, it doesn't really catch my eye. The same thing goes for the enemies as well. I feel like the enemy robots I've seen so far, of them, there's only one design I've liked. Some of them just look like kind of like bland alien robots. Somewhat the same feel I got from the robots in Sonic 06, if I'm being honest. I like the whole effect they have about them with the whole glitching into reality and, you know, the overall cartoonish nature it seems some of the robots have. But comparing it to some of Sonic's enemies in older games, some of these are so just boring compared to them. They're not very memorable. The only ones I really liked were the basic enemies that look like they're only going to take 1 hit to defeat, and then there was this one circular tank robot that I kind of liked. But I mean, hey, at least they didn't just, you know, take the robots from old games or take assets from old games and just plop them into Sonic Frontier. Oh no. Look, guys, I get it. Making a game is hard, but This is just not fun. Sonic Frontiers has self-plagiarized levels, meaning that Sega literally took the structure of old levels from old Sonic games and plopped them into Sonic Frontiers. They even had to remake some of these from way old games, which makes me think they're trying to do a reference style thing, but I don't want a reference. We've been through this almost 3 times now with Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, and Sonic Forces. You're not only reusing old level designs, you're using Green Hill Zone again, Chemical Plant again, I guess Sky Sanctuary to a lesser degree, but still, these are all levels we've seen before. Why not make something new? There are so many good ideas for original Sonic levels out there. Like, literally look at this. This is Chemical Plant from Sonic Generations. Not even redesigned in any way. This is Chemical Plant straight up from Sonic Generations, ripped and shortened and put into Sonic Frontiers. They did the same thing with Sky Sanctuary too. When a new Sonic game comes out, I want new levels. I want something I haven't seen before. But it really feels like the last 3 games you've given us, we've just seen things we've seen before. This was special in Sonic Generations. It's not special now. Now you're not even just copying the design aesthetic, now you're actually just taking old levels and putting them in this game. And if you're going to reuse levels, reuse some that we haven't seen in a long time. Levels from Sonic 06, levels from Sonic and the Black Knight, levels from, I don't know, frickin' Sonic Schoolhouse. I will say this, I am excited to be playing through some of the old adventure levels again with newer physics, just because I've been wanting a Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 remake for the longest time. But now, instead of getting a full remake, we're getting a few levels. That's just great. One of the other big problems I have with this game so far as well is the animation quality. The gameplay animation looks fine. In fact, it looks phenomenal. Better than Sonic gameplay animation has looked in a very long time. It's more specifically the cutscene animation I'm concerned about. Sega always does this thing where they get a really nice CGI animated trailer or an opening for the game or something like that, and then the rest of the game just kind of looks clunky and a little poorly animated. Sonic has slowly but surely progressed over the years in terms of its cutscene animation, and I do really think they've made strides here in terms of the animation. Like, look at this one cutscene where Sonic is facing down the Titan. Freaking the squash and stretch, the action of it is perfectly conveyed. But then, later in that exact same cutscene, Sonic gets thrown at a wall, and it looks like a big impact, but then it looks like Sonic is still a foot off the wall. Even Sage as well just kind of looks odd in some of this leaked footage. I don't know if they're gonna fix that. I really hope some of this gets fixed, and this point just gets rendered completely useless by the time the game gets, you know, put out. But from what I've seen of it so far, from all the leaked gameplay, it just looks clunky. If I'm being completely honest, Sega, if you ever watch this, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, I'd just go ahead and go full CG cutscenes. Like, this in the trailer, just make all the cutscenes in the game that. It doesn't matter that it doesn't quite look like the game, it looks good to me. And I'd honestly prefer this to just characters who don't look like they have any real motion or weight. And while we're talking about quality, let's talk about some of the gameplay issues. Honestly, I don't have a lot of issues with the gameplay, it all looks very fun to me. One of the things I'm just really worried about is the fact that objects are still popping in and out. Now, I have heard the reviews from people saying that, oh, in the gameplay demo they put out for cons, they actually managed to fix this issue. But in the most recent leaked gameplay we got, the game still looks like it's popping in and out objects. And it's very distracting, very off-putting. I don't know, I just... If you can't fix the fact that it's popping in and out, you could at the very least add in a fade-in animation. Like, if this faded in instead of popping in, that would look so much more natural to me. Or you could even possibly add an effect where it glitches into the world, because that would even make more sense with, like, Sage's powers and all that, where it's, like, actually glitching in instead of just pop, it's there. When Iizuka says, frickin', the fans just don't understand Sonic Frontiers gameplay yet, you're right, I don't, because I don't understand why that would be hard to fix. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be mean here, I don't. It just feels like there's ways that you can easily get around this stuff that shouldn't take too long. But again, I don't have any really other big complaints about the gameplay issues. The gameplay looks fine. I think it is going to be interesting to see how they manage the skill tree and leveling up Sonic, but we'll see how that goes. I'm just a little bit hesitant on that, but I don't think it's a bad thing until I've seen it at the very least. You want to talk about something that I really think is a low point of the game, though, if I'm being honest? From what we have seen so far, the bosses. There are a couple that I like. Like I mentioned before, I like the ball tank. It looks like fun getting to bounce off the walls and actually, you know, hit the thing. But then we also come to the boss we saw in the first gameplay, where you can just easily go flying off the boss. Or how about the one on the rings, where you have to circle around the rings and avoid attacks and then go on and keep continuously hitting it? I saw a leaked boss fight the other day where it's actually like a sandfish in the desert, and it's just a bunch of quick time events, and it goes on for like 2 minutes, these quick time events. Not even getting a chance to strike at it. What the fuck? I don't want to spend 2 minutes just doing quick time events just so I can get a chance to hit a boss. The big flying one looks kind of cool where you grind along, but I'm still not exactly sure on it. I'm really hoping we get some actual, like, story bosses. Like, obviously, we'll probably get to fight Eggman at some point. We get a couple other big robots that we fight, along with the Supersonic boss fights. And I'm hoping that those are a lot more interesting. And speaking of the Supersonic boss fights, does anybody else just get the worst vibes from this footage here? Like, freaking, it's all close-up. It doesn't really look like it's that entertaining. It's just gonna be attack, 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 and then, you know, maybe dodge at some points. I honestly can't tell what's happening because of how close up we are on the robot. I'm hoping that's just because this footage was taken with a camera rather than actually captured, but it makes me really, really worried for how this is gonna turn out. And as far as I know, I'm not alone in that. A lot of review sites have been saying that the bosses is where this game doesn't tend to shine. At least the world bosses. Jury's still out on the Supersonic and story bosses, and that's what really scares me. Because we have this huge, big enemy in front of us, and yet, if it's not fun, then why? I don't want these boss fights to be easy, but I don't want them to be tedious. Fun, fast-paced, get engaged with them, not just sit there, wait for an opportunity to attack. Like, if I'm being honest, I just completely get rid of the red circle thing on that first boss we saw, because that looks like it's going to be a fucking pain. It's incredibly hard to look at that and say, wow, that looks like fun. But again, that's all just very nitpicky stuff. I don't think any single one of these ruins the game overall. More my concern is that if all these completely go unchanged in the final version, the game isn't going to look fun. Because for me, one of the things I value most in a game is how it looks, both story-wise and aesthetically. Overall, though, I still think the game looks great. I think it's going to be one of the most fun and engaging Sonic games we've had in the last 10 years, probably since Generations, honestly, with a story that seems very expansive and interesting and is going to go deep into Sonic's lore. Obviously, they can't fix some of these things I've brought up, like the self-plagiarized levels, because I don't think they want to delay the game to, you know, make all new stages. But I do think all the rest of these could very well see improvement by the time the game releases. Who knows? I might be completely wrong about these. I really hope I am. I love Sonic so much, and I think he deserves a game that's finally just completely his. This game looks like it has the potential to be that, and I want to see it be that. And if he doesn't, well, then Sonic's dead. I really do think this game is Sonic's last chance to avoid falling into mediocrity. While we have had some good Sonic games in the past 10 years, none of them have quite been up to the level of expectation of the fans. So here's to hoping we get the Sonic Frontiers that we, the fans, deserve. And that Sonic deserves. I personally am going to be playing the game live on this channel the day it releases on November 8th. So, you know, if you want to tune in for that, maybe hit that little subscribe button down there. That bell could use a ringing too, you know. I guarantee, no matter what, I'm probably still gonna have a lot of fun with this game unless it's just completely blatantly bad. I mean, you are talking to the guy who personally didn't think Sonic 06 was as bad as everyone made it out to be. Yep, that statement got me canceled. And I guarantee you I'm gonna spend hours playing this game because It's Sonic. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope I managed to give you a little bit of an insight onto why I'm still hesitant about Sonic Frontiers, but overall, I'm still really excited about it. If you did like this video, hit the like button right down below, and subscribe for more Sonic content coming very soon. I also have started recently doing a lot of, like, little short skits on the channel, just based around video games and stuff like that. If you want to check them out, go ahead. I won't stop you. I'll just judge you very silently if you don't. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for me. I will see you all when Sonic Frontiers releases. I'm really excited for the game, and I hope you all are too, because again, I love Sonic. There it was.